This computer. Okay, good evening. Good evening. It is 6:05. We're going to get started. We are back with Ignite session 9. Session 9, which is capture more leads, one of my favorite sessions. I think it kind of sums it all up, and then we get to discuss a little bit about where some extra leads and when some actual action plans that we're going to take after now we've discovered all the ways that we can find leads. So once again, we're on session 9. And I'm going to get right into our material if that's okay with everyone. Okay. So, capture more leads. Now, I would really love when we get to the prospecting and marketing part of this session that I want to hear what you think is working, what's working for you, what has worked, what you've seen others. I want to have a little bit of collaboration there. And that we are in all different markets with all different price points, different consumers, different reasons as to why people are buying and selling. So we already completed our first section of the course. The course was designing your value proposition and understanding what your job is, understanding that it's a career and that there's a lot of parts of building a business. It's not just having a real estate license. That's the first part, but then actually developing a business. And then now we're in the second pillar, which is lead generation. As we fall out of this one, we're going to go into lead follow-up, and that's going to talk a lot about systems. And we're going to have some guests come on for some of those sessions as well. And then the last pillar of this is actually transacting in the business. So winning the buyers, winning the sellers, the negotiating, all the fun stuff. I think it looks like it's the fun stuff that we get to do. And yet the first 3 pillars are it's all the work that goes behind the scene in order for us to get to the stage. I would say pillar 4 here, transact business, is getting to the stage. And all behind the scenes is working out to get ready and then practicing and practicing and practicing and maybe even some like trial shows before we actually get on the stage. All right, so we are going to dive into today's agenda, which is systems that work. Prospecting versus marketing. That's going to be your passive, your active, different types of promoting yourself to generate leads. Gold mine of referrals. Where do we find the referrals? Like, where do referrals come from? Because you must remember that the whole entire point of us being in business is to create referrals. Okay, it's to generate leads and create referrals from them. In that everybody is not going to need us right now, and yet we're going to be in business this year. So how we create referrals is a huge part of building a business. More sources. We're going to dive into more ideas, and I'll give you some success stories I've had in the past. Capture every lead. How do we capture them? And then we're going to recap AHAs, talk about the daily success system. Okay, so before we dive in, does anybody have anything that they want to share? Successes, wins, challenges that you've been having in the last, couple of weeks that you'd like to, have somebody talk you through a little bit? Or any wins that you want to just share with us so we can celebrate with you?
When your Zoom cut out, I had started to tell you that we went under contract with my son, but because of the holiday, the 30 review doesn't start till tomorrow. So,
Okay.
cautiously optimistic. You know, we think we found him a place. He's certainly not going to back out, but we'll see. I think we're
Anything can
good, but
happen. Anything can happen. But congratulations
anything
for
can happen.
securing another one. And as we get through the win with buyers, you'll see that like Chris is going through all the steps multiple times and having successes and wins and actually getting to the transacting table, not necessarily the closing table, but the transacting table, which a lot of us are having a couple at bats before we can get there. So great job. All
Thank
right.
you.
So let's dive into the material. You love people, but at the same time, you haven't yet learned to love hunting for them. Now, I can really resonate with that. Who like loves people, loves talking to people. And then I say, okay, well, go connect with 10 people right now. You got 1 hour to go do that and see who needs to buy or sell a house. And it's like, well, if I see them at a party, I can talk to them really easily, right? And this is the game of finding leads, is hunting for people. It's setting people up in a system where you'll be able to know if they need help because your systems are working, but you've hunted and you've put them in a certain place. And you've gathered that information because you've hunted. So no mistake, you're definitely going to be a little stalkerish in this business if you're going to do well. Okay, so systems that work. Your number one job is to find ways to get in the path of motivated buyers and sellers. That is an absolutely true statement. And they're not going to be only the people that are in your database. So we have to add value to those people so that they will refer us. And so while we're building our database, we're also, we have this amazing thing that we just talked about last week, which is social media. And social media allows us to take the message and also the method. There are lots of different methods because of social media, but it allows us to take the message and it allows us to go wider, faster, bigger, more strategic. And so these are the two things that we are looking at when we're talking about capturing your leads, lead generation, the two M's of lead generation. The message, what you're saying, and then the method, how you're getting it to the prospect. Okay. If anybody has a question, please use your hands, your regular hands or your emoji hands, and let me know that you have a question, or just unmute and go ahead and ask. But understanding this is super important because everything that we have beyond this slide has to fit into, do you know your audience? Do you know the message that you want to give them, the call to action? Are you making an offer? Or are you matching your market? Right? Are you sharing with them the market conditions, or are you making them an offer, which is something that we call a MOFR? Okay, making an offer for immediate response. A MOFR, making an offer for immediate response. Right? So direct offer or indirect offer, prompting somebody to click on the button. Click here to get our one page, how to get your home ready, for pictures. And you're actually giving them Motion Media's full one pager of what to do to get the house ready. But click here to receive this value item. That would be a MOFR, and that would be a direct offer where you would receive something once you clicked on it, right? And then the method is, are we going to prospect it or are we going to market it? Now, can somebody share with me what would be one lead generation tactic I might use if I'm prospecting it? What would one do if they're prospecting the message rather than marketing the message? Okay, so we would make phone calls. We might door knock. We might actually go tell somebody face to face, text messages. We may just pick up the phone and let somebody know, here's what's going on in the market, and these are your market conditions. And also, I'm going to make an offer that for immediate response, would you like a comparative market analysis done on your home, or an equity analysis? And we're going to talk about that. So you would just talk it, you'd walk it, you'd knock it, you'd write it. The market part would be that you'd be spending money, you'd be having an imprint, an impression somewhere, whether it was direct mail, it was a newspaper, it could also be a social post. But you're not really looking for an engagement of back and forth in the way that you would be prospecting. Marketing is more passive. Prospecting is aggressive. Okay. And for both, you'll have to time block, preparing, taking action, and then maintaining. If you remember from a different session, we had spoken about PAM, PAM. And if you see at the bottom of M2 method, you have prepare, action, maintain. You prepare for the prospecting, you prepare for the marketing, you design the piece, you role play the script. You take action, you actually make the phone calls, or you put the mailer in the mailbox. And then you maintain, meaning that you take that address or that data and you have it in your database and you're on some sort of touch system so that that's not the only time that they're going to hear from you. Okay. So the message, though, there's so many messages, and that's another big part of what do you want to say, guys? I know we were talking about this. I think it was Kristen saying about something about a recipe card, right? So like if it's the recipe card, are you that like homey kind of realtor that brings cookies all the time and is involved in every PTO and you bake with the bake club? Like, is that why we're sending recipes? Yes, it will linger in the house a little bit, but is that the value item that we need to show to, is that the message that we want to send, is that we have really great recipes? What we want to say is that we sell homes faster than anybody else. We have knowledge of the market. We know every vendor out there. You need your house painted, you need your lights put up. I will tell you, it's going to be that season because it's October 9th, right? There's a girl up in the Ridgewood office, and her entire business started with her referring her light guy. So she lives in a very nice area, Wyckoff, right? But she's got this fancy guy that puts her Christmas lights out. So she just started to refer him, and then he was referring her business. And now she's the girl in town. Everybody wants to know, who do you get the lights from? Where do you get the trees from? And literally, her business like grew off of being that connection in the community for the Christmas tree light. So, like, but know what your market is and know if the message is going to make sense. Don't just do it because you saw, Ilio Realtor in Houston, Texas doing this great video. Well, does that connect with your market? Because if it doesn't, it's not going to land the way you want it to and get you the result ultimately that you want it to. Okay. So this is a really big piece of this. And so I would encourage you go back to this sometimes when your marketing's not working, when you're not generating the leads that you thought you would, when you're making phone calls or you're door knocking and you're like, man, I am not getting the success I thought I would by door 28. First of all, it's not enough doors. Go to 100 and then tell me about your problems because 28 doors isn't enough to find out what's really happening in the neighborhood. 100 doors is enough to find out what's happening in the neighborhood. 50 might also be enough, but 28 is not enough. So you just got to hit more doors to really understand, what do these people need to hear that I could be the solution for, so that I can then deliver that message, the method that they need it, and then I'll be the choice. Okay. So leads are everywhere. They really are everywhere. I mean, I'm seeing here coffee, right? A coffee shop. How many times do you talk to the person in the front or behind you at the coffee shop? Or how many times do you not? And let's just say that might be an aha of, maybe I should be a little bit nicer at the coffee shop. Maybe I should go in for my coffee. Maybe I connect with the girls at the drive-through, and that's actually a contact for me that I didn't even think about. Every day I see the same girl gives me my Starbucks. Does she know I'm a realtor? Does she know that I can help her friends find a rental, find a investment property, whatever she needs? How about give her a Starbucks card, right? I mean, but it's everywhere. It's all about, are you approaching people? Are you connecting with people? Right? So having a great conversation and then leaving and not saying, hey, here's the way to follow up with me, and asking for the business. Like, hey, if you ever need anybody to come by and take a look at the property to do an equity analysis, I'd be happy to come by. I'm doing them next month. Would you like me to come by? Would you like me to put them on your put you on my schedule? Right. So approaching people, connecting with people, asking for the business. Approaching, don't be a secret agent. I know a lot of people have a name badge. If you don't, consider getting a name badge. You can go on Recognition Express, which is a website where you can order name badges. You can also just go on, just look Keller Williams name badges. I'm sure there's a bunch of vendors inside of our command. So name badge is a great thing. And to just don't be a secret agent. So method and message, not being a secret agent, asking for business. How are we doing with that? What are some things that are working for you? What was the last lead you created? How did you get it? What was your strategy that it worked?
There was no strategy. It
There
was
was
just
no
a conversation.
strategy.
No, it was just a conversation. I was getting some art framed, and when it was ready, the guy called me, and I was in a bad mood. Didn't recognize him. I thought he was a spammer,
Yeesh.
so I gave
Mhm.
him a little bit of an attitude until he identified himself, and then we had a good laugh. And I apologized. I said, "Look, I'm a realtor, and oh, you're a realtor? Oh, yeah, I'm getting ready to retire, and I need to sell this, and I need to." It was just a conversation. There was no,
Awesome. I'm so
everybody's a
glad that I'm so glad you got out of your funk,
yeah. Well,
right?
yeah, it was actually kind of funny, but everybody's a prospect. It's just you just got to let them know because you don't know
That-
everybody's buying and selling, you know.
That's right.
So
That's right. Absolutely right. And it doesn't matter where you are. You just before met somebody from New Jersey here in Aruba. Hey, I got a great realtor if you ever need anything in New Jersey. And they took my card, they have my information. So to that, how do we hand our information? And we're going to talk a little bit about that, but let's think about that because I see the missed opportunities because we're having a great conversation and we walk away and we're like, oh my gosh, how do I get in touch with that person? Where would I find Gina? Right. So in the conversation, maybe I'm asking Gina, oh, what's your last name? My last name's Olive. What's your last name? Oh, it's Jarecki. Oh, what section do you guys live in? So at least I got some information that if I have to go to a tax record and now start to stalk her and find out where her address is, and then I go on Facebook and I can find her, and then I can put that data in my database. Right. But you got to gather some information. For some of us, it's just as easy as like just share your contact with them. Hey, Gina, what's your cell number? Let me just share my contact with you so that you have me. What are they going to say? You're in the middle of a conversation. Like, no, no, I don't want you to do that. Like, okay, well, I better know now than try to prospect you and then you're not answering the phone. But I guarantee you, even the guy at Home Depot, and he's telling me about his dreams of closing out all of his real estate in his home country to move it all to the United States. I'm like, well, let me just share my information. He's like, all right, yeah, let me take that. Going to Home Depot, spending some money, getting some leads. Okay, so let's dive in to prospecting versus marketing. Lead generation is a contact sport with simple rules. It means making contact with people through prospecting and marketing. And BB had identified, or was it Sarah? I think it was Sarah. It's a two-way conversation. Okay, a contact is a two-way conversation. Lead generation could be a one-way, that would be a lead, but contact is a two-way conversation, which is why it's a contact sport. And this here is what we need to understand. And all of us think about, when did you move last? When did you buy a property last? Typically, realtors will be outliers. We'll be buying properties like every year, or some people buy a couple every year. And, so we're outliers for sure. And that's a really fantastic book if you have not read it, Outliers. Just talking about us that live outside the bell curve. Okay. However, your average human being is not moving outside of that 7 to 10 year range. They're going to buy a house for a time of life. They're going to stay there. They're going to live there for 2 years. What does he have? Is that the outliers? Yes. I knew I liked Chris. Me and Chris, love it. But 7 to 10 years, they will tell you, oh, we're only going to stay here for like 2 to 3 years. And then what happens? They like the job, or they can't move because of the job, or a baby comes, or you know what, we really like the neighborhood, or we're going to put an extension on. Oh, the interest rates are too high and the interest rates are too low, and where are we going to go? All sorts of things come into play. But if you look at historical moves, 7 to 10 years is when somebody moves. So what happens, guys? Look at the tick marks. Okay, they move at the top. At the bottom, what happens? We don't even pay attention to them at all until all of a sudden we hear that they're going to move again. But at that bottom, at that 4-year mark, you should be marketing, and being strategic that you're going to amp up your connecting with your database when they're into that year 4 of their move with you, especially the people that you put there. The people that you started with, that they've been in their house for 10 or 15 years, well, all of them are urgent to you because somebody's going to make a move in there. And so this is where Gary will say, everybody's going to move, let's just say 1 out of 10 years, right? So if everybody in your database is going to move in 10 years, that means the size of your database is how many transactions you should be doing over 10 years. Let that be an aha. Because if you don't believe it, then take them out of your database. If you don't believe those people should be buying or selling with you, take them out. I'd rather see you work a small database that is manageable, that you can go deep and intimate with a very small crew, than to have this big database to just compete with people in a class like, oh, my database is bigger than your database, and you're still not doing anything with it, okay? But if you had 100 people in your database, that would be 100 sales over 10 years. That means 10 sales a year out of your database you should be able to count on. And that's where he gets that 10% number as well, that from your database you should be able to yield 10% transactions. Okay, and 10% transactions isn't necessarily just the person is going to move, the one that you know that's in the database. That 10%, they're going to either refer you, they're going to need to do something. Okay, so it is extremely possible, because it's actually cut in half. But if you have 100 people, you should be able to do 10 transactions. If you have 200 people, you should be able to do 20 transactions in 1 year. Now, this year, maybe nobody's moving because they're like interest rates, prices, whatever. It just means that they stalled, which means 2025 should be like a double year in your database. I've lived through it. I know it happens. It really does happen. Everybody waits at the same time. Everybody jumps on the boat at the same time. But if you look at the span of over 5 and 10 years, the numbers, they do become truth. Okay, so when we understand that our database is not moving every year, then we don't get impatient with them, because you know what? They're probably not moving this year, but they have referrals to give me, which is why we are going to service every single contact in the database. And there are 2 different ways, prospecting versus marketing. We said marketing is passive. I'm going to put it in the mailbox. I'm going to put it out. You're going to look at it and read it when you want. You're going to be able to get back to me because you know how to get back to me, because it's on the marketing piece. That is very passive. You guys know what the percentage of return on that is? And Nicole probably does, but it's 1-2%. 3% if you're really lucky, that you would get from just sticking something in the mailbox. So that is a long-term commitment, that is money intensive, and it is a numbers game. You dump enough money into it, you are going to win. It's like the roulette table. But eventually somebody loses, right? Because somebody gets sloppy, or somebody decides like, oh, and then the money is still getting spent on the marketing, but you're not walking the neighborhood anymore. You're not going out there and doing open houses at those listings anymore. And it's not as impactful. So prospecting will be a all-time, you can always rely on prospecting. Pick up the darn phone and ask the people for the business. Tell them what's going on in the market. Let them know that you have an open house in the neighborhood. Tell them that you're looking for fantastic painters and siding guys and roofers. Who do they know? You're doing a survey. Why do they like to live here? You've been assigned to their neighborhood. I mean, there's so many crazy reasons as to why a realtor could knock on the door. Okay, so prospecting is immediate results. Do they want to give the information? Do they want to work with you? Do they need something or not? And if it's not, you put them on the drip, which is what you were going to do with the marketing campaign anyway, right? So proactive, that's prospecting, and it's time intensive. You will be putting hours in, but it will be well spent. And the minute you get a deal, it will feel way better than the money that you're putting for the mailbox. So in the prospecting arena, there's 10 right here. One is listings without agency. These are probably my favorite. When I was an agent for sell by owners, expired listings, we're not seeing as many expired listings as we used to see. However, I promise you, the people that took listings a couple months ago, wait till like February, you're going to see expired listings. Because there are some people that do not know how to take a price reduction and they need to. Dave, go ahead, unmute yourself.
Yeah, Maribeth, the biggest challenge I'm seeing with FSBOs now is that, the response I'm receiving is that, oh, the market's so hot right now. It's so easy to sell a house. I could do it
Yeah,
myself. I don't need a realtor. How hard could it be,
yeah.
versus 10 years ago or 20 years ago?
Well, you know what, Mr. For Sale by Owner, you're absolutely right. It's probably way easier today than it has been in the past. But also to be a realtor, it's a little easier today than it has been in the past. And we also
Yep.
have the challenges. And here's the challenges that I'm concerned for you, Mr. For Sale by Owner.
Yeah.
Do you know
Yeah, that's
that?
exactly what, yeah.
I
Yeah.
mean, you just kind of go into, do you know how much money is left on the table by for sale by owners because you're not opening your home to the full market? Like when you
Yep.
list with the realtor, oh, but I'm going to give away my commission. You're not giving away anything. Your house, you don't pay me unless it gets sold. So unless you get an acceptable price, you're not paying me. So it's
That's
free
right.
to get all the extra free marketing. That's number one.
Yep.
But number two is, can I tell you where I see money lost at best is in the multiple offer situation. And and then when the deal doesn't stay together because two attorneys can't get along or there is an attorney or so, I mean, I wouldn't want to see you lose 30,000 just on trying to handle this yourself. So why
Yep.
don't you list with me? And if we can't get an acceptable price within 30 days, we'll rip up the contract and we can part ways.
Thanks.
Right.
Yep.
Like, I don't know, like and if he's not willing to be flexible and understand that there is value to working with an agent, because there is, guys, and if you didn't remember what your value is, now you have to think about it for sale by owner. Put them in your shoe, put yourself in their shoes. They are looking at the market, like Dave said, and saying, well, it's a hot market, right? I could sell by myself. What do I need to go with a realtor for now? But the truth is, where are we seeing these multiple offers? The minute something hits MLS, where are the qualified buyers? Qualified buyers are working with real estate agents.
That's right.
So qualified buyers don't have any second to go see, oh, what new for sale by owner came on the market today? They really don't. They're
No.
like they're hunting with their own agent that, and if you have a client out there and you cannot find what you're looking for, you better go call those for sale by owners. Because if you don't, they will, and that's really not good for either one of them. And yet it happens and they do put the deals together. So just protect yourself. Make yourself be a professional that when you say this with integrity, look, I look for listings for my sellers and my buyers. I look for listings for sellers and buyers. That's what I do as my job. I am looking for people that want to list their home. I'm looking for buyers that want to buy a home all day long. Yeah, I market properties, but literally I am a matchmaker. I am looking for sellers and buyers and I'm looking to connect them. There's value in that, Mr. For Sale by Owner. And Mr. Expired, who had a bad experience with an agent, the only bad experience is either that seller was not ready to hear the message that the agent was telling them. The agent didn't know how to really flip the script a bit and let them self-discover that this probably was the best thing was to reposition the property or change the condition or let people in, right? So there's all reasons as to why something doesn't sell. And don't go bashing any other agents, but expireds are a little sensitive because they already tried us. They think that we failed them. So you have to absolutely have the script embedded that you say, hi, Mr. Expired. I specialize in homes that didn't sell the first time around. Looks like you came off of the multiple listing system. Are you still interested in selling the home if you found the right buyer at the right price? That's it. Like we specialize in homes that didn't sell the first time around. Oh, really? Do you? Yeah, we consult you. We're a fiduciary agent and we consult you on the price and we show you what could happen if you don't price it properly, if the conditions, but I'm sure your house was, when can I come see the home? Well, how come you didn't come see the house when it was on the market? Unfortunately, your agent never marketed it to me, and I'll explain that when I come see you. How's today at 7 or Saturday at 10? And what I'm going to say is it wasn't marketed properly because it was priced wrong. It was on the wrong rack. And quite frankly, I had buyers in that price point had it been on the right rack. And then he's going to feel like I'm missing out. Got to give some FOMO. Anyway, I could talk all day about scripts. But you got to get into the mind of who the customer is and what can I tell them that they need to hear that is truth, that will get them looking at you like nobody talks to me like that. If I'm going to list with the agent, it's going to be you, but I'm still not ready yet. But talk to me, call me tomorrow, right? So phone face to face, that's the only, I mean, expireds for sale by owners, you could back it up again with a pre-listing packet at their door. I highly recommend that. Yet the best use of time is to sit there and phone bang. Okay, circle prospecting, best prospecting out there. Everybody can do it. It's warm calling, it's not cold calling. Hey, guess what your neighbor did last night? Guess what your neighbor did? Guess what happened in your neighborhood? Guess what it's sold for? Guess what it's listed for? Hey, we're having an open house. Did you know about they're changing the roads over here? They're gonna have this shut down. Just want to let you know there's gonna be a lot of traffic. We've been assigned to your neighborhood. We've been assigned to your neighborhood. Adele DeMoro gave us that when we were younger. You've been assigned. Gary Keller has assigned you. Adele DeMoro has assigned you. And it's our duty to get out to our community and service it. So, hi, how are you? How can I help you? And I mean, if you just put a simple list of all the sold properties together and went door knocking for that, called with that, talk to your movement mortgage team. They have the phone numbers. You don't need to buy a system to get the phone numbers. Just get a list. Okay. So circle prospecting, neighborhoods, apartment complexes, recently sold listings, recently sold listed properties, community outreach. Those of you who know me, you know that is my jam. I love helping people. So always out there. I run the kitchen for Thanksgiving. We feed 3,000 meals. There are tons of opportunities in Monmouth, Middlesex, Mercer, Ocean counties to do great outreach programs. You also have, you know, inner city areas like Newark and Patterson if you really want to go into some city, Camden and Trenton. You have some really great organizations that do need help. But what I say is you go local. Go local and find out where your need is. You want to know where you go? You go to the school system, you go to the Board of Ed, and you find out, are there any children that we can sew into? Are there families that need stuff that we don't know about? They'll tell you, yeah, we got 25 families every year that we provide for. The other place, go to your local churches, your local synagogues, your local temples. Hey, what outreach programs do you have? Do you have a feeding program? Do you have a housing program? How could I get involved? Is there a kids program? Go to the YMCA. They always need volunteers, big brother, big sister programs. On the right side, key relationships, corporations, builders, banks, third-party data companies, investors. If your spouse works for a company, offer a seminar where seminars are going to come up. Offer a seminar to the corporation. If you know of a few builders, show up at their open houses, market to them that we're the largest company and we're worldwide. We have a global reach. Why wouldn't they want to have Keller Williams exposure? Banks, third-party data companies, investors, teaching and speaking opportunities. Plenty of organizations. The local library is always looking for people to throw seminars. Sometimes you have assisted living houses where they'll have KW Planner, where you're doing like downsizing estate conversations, how to set everything up properly. That might be a speaking opportunity that you could bring in some professionals. Right? Prospecting meals, dropping off pies, cookies, door-to-door canvassing, you know, taking a survey, networking events, booths, kiosks. We just had jazz night in Perth Amboy that Keller Williams by the Bay was a sponsor. And you also have walk-ins if you are in a location where you might have some foot traffic. That was a lot, right? What stands out? If you want to throw it in the chat, that's fine too. But from these tactics, these strategies, what's something that you connect with? Like, what would you be doing? You could raise your hand, unmute, go ahead and put it in the chat. But what's something that you could see yourself doing here in prospecting?
Community outreach.
community outreach, specifically what sector of your community, Bridget?
I do a lot of volunteering. I'm active in my community. I'm on several boards in my community.
Fantastic. So you can also get very involved for those of you who've never been to a city council meeting. You can go to city council meetings. You can run for the Board of Ed. You can get involved on the Board of Ed. You know, like find your passion in your community. Thank you. Anybody else want to share? Just one more. One more thing that one more strategy that you feel connected with that you would do, you would take action on.
I do a similar thing, volunteering, but I do with animals. So get out there.
Love it. So there's tons of opportunity for animals, saving animals, you know, getting pets spayed and neutered, just making sure that we place animals properly, just helping some of our shelters place animals is probably the biggest need in that sector, right? And a lot of times it's because people don't have the money to take care of the animals. So I could imagine, Gina, if there were grants available for people that had animals, that they could apply for grants to provide food, you know, and litter for the kitty. Like that could be something that could be life-changing because somebody could keep their animal then have to give it up. And right. So nothing to do with real estate and everything to do with community.
Yeah, we do. We need a lot of fosters all the time.
Yeah. So, you know, that's something I can really see you standing behind and then using, yes, Gina, they know you're a real estate agent because you showed up in your Keller Williams shirt and your Keller Williams shirt has paws all over it. Right? Maybe you get a
Yeah, I
shirt
gotta
that's
get my gear. I gotta get my gear.
there you go. Awesome. I love it. See? So just from this alone, we've connected with community. I'd love to see a few more of you connect with Circle Prospecting and even number 4. But please feel free to let us know how it's going and what you decide to commit to. And then in marketing, this is pretty easy. We see it, we know it, it's visual. Offline advertising, TV, radio, newspaper, that's kind of dead. I mean, it's there. There are some people that are killing it with radio, but once you have that spot, you have that spot. I mean, it's very expensive, but once you have it, it's worth it. But, you know, in our market, we know a few people that have those spots that it's just, would it be worth it to put the money behind it? You have to have a big business to support that kind of marketing budget. And that's the point, guys. Your budget is going to dictate what you should be able to do with marketing. Prospecting, you could touch all of them. You could go smorgasbord on that one. You don't even have to worry about a budget with prospecting. Marketing is where we always go to because it's passive and we stand behind it and we could send it out and let people respond. But if you guys really want the business, you got to be on the other page. So as you can see, you know, bus stops, magazines, billboards, yellow pages, grocery carts, moving vans. I've been on a few of them. They never did much for me except for solidify me in the community that I was already in. Already had success in online advertising, pay-per-click advertising, SEO, social media, portal. If that's your jam, that could be it. Okay. We know that could be it. You can really target people through search engine optimization and your social media campaigns. So, but if that's not your thing, you can go back to page 1 all day long and walk the neighborhood and make as much impact in the community. Johanna?
Do you think marketing is also good? Not good, but like it's better for yourself in terms of social, just like branding yourself. Sorry, I couldn't get the words out.
Well, that's really what you're doing. You're branding yourself. A lot of times, even the message gets lost because it really looks a lot about the agent. Like it is about the brand. It's about working with that brand. When we see that brand come across the social post or the mailbox or the text has it and we see that brand should make us feel a certain way, just the way we see Neiman Marcus and it makes us feel a certain way. We see Tiffany and we feel a certain way, right? So when we see Walmart, we feel a certain way, like, oh man, I'm about to get frustrated in this place, right? But we're going in for cheap and fast, right? So every brand represents something. So Joanna, absolutely, you need to use marketing, especially all the free stuff to like tell your story. tell your story, let people experience you, because also in today's world of business, it's all about the experience. So if they know who you are and they know your flavor before they work with you, you have a better chance of connecting. But I've seen plenty of people, just to be the other side of the coin. I know plenty of people who will not go on social media. They're completely on the other slide of prospecting. And they could give a rat's, but somebody in the ops team is pushing out the just listed, the just sold, but it's nothing about them, the agent, and they have huge businesses. So I think it goes back to that other page of the method and the message, knowing your audience. If your audience is all over social media, well, your branding better be on point in social media. If your branding, because I know if your branding is, I live in this neighborhood, my kids go to school in this community, everybody knows me here, I better show up at every football game, I better show up at every PTO meeting, I better show up at, then that's where your branding belongs. And that's where Gina shows up with the paws on her shirt, because they're going to physically see her, maybe not going to see her imprint on social media. Right. So it could be all sorts of different, but we just got to know who we are. We got to know who our market is. We got to know what we want to say. I mean, this is a lot, right? But once you kind of got it down and you kind of fall into your thing, it's easy then for people to know who you are, because then it's repetition, repetition, repetition. Guys, even the simplest, when we talk about marketing, even the simplest way you cross your arms in a photo and where you place that picture in every marketing piece would say something. So please be mindful of your branding. The font you use says something. The color schemes you use say something. So, just be mindful and talk to somebody at your office, like run it by a few people. Don't just go rogue with your new logo. Okay. So online advertising, we talked about that. 3 is broadcast, content creation, radio segments, live social media. Live social media is amazing. I think I mentioned my girlfriend, Orly Steinberg. She is also very active on that pivot shift ahead call with James Shaw that I highly recommend in the morning. And but if you look at Orly is constantly doing like Facebook Live, constantly educating through some sort of video on Facebook. Her audience is on Facebook. As she's a little bit older, her audience is on Facebook, and she is just video all over, so everybody can experience Orly. So check her out. Direct mail, that's your simple stuff. Postcard campaign, 12 in the mailbox, 24 in the mailbox, but it has to be at least 1 a month. Special event cards, just sold, just listed. It can't be like, oh, well, Mary Beth, I sent it just listed this month, and next month I sent it just sold. Then I'm going to do a mailer. No, it needs to be a mailer every month. And on top of that, you have, oh, she just listed 2 houses in the neighborhood also. And they went under contract this month. Okay, that neighbor might have 4 mailers that month. That's really marketing. Okay, it's committing to marketing. Quarterly updates. I wholeheartedly believe in that, that there should be a quarterly update. Promotional items, swag, public relations, press, that is free. You can go ahead and put yourself a news press, like in a lot of different papers. You could write yourself a blog. I think blog was on here also. And sponsorship, sponsor a team. I mean, every town, somebody needs a soccer team sponsored or a men's softball league sponsored. Like, figure it out and be part of it. So that's marketing. And yet if you show up, it will be prospecting as well. Okay, so we talk about the things that overlap right here. Farming, geographic and demographic. Farming is where you're going to stay consistent for 12 months. So is that going to be 12 emails to the yoga group that you see every Thursday? That's farming a demographic group through email. Are you going to direct mail postcard to 1,400 houses in your neighborhood? That is a geographic farm. Okay. Events. open houses, seminars, contests, client appreciation events. This is how you make lead generation fun. Networking with your sphere, networking with past clients, allied resources, going to all of the mortgage parties and, the title companies throwing a party. And yeah, you go to those, you meet agents and agent to agent referrals, referral networks, advertising networks, and clientele. Okay. So let's pull out of this for a second. And I just want to encourage you that if you were to look at we're coming to the new year, right? I encourage you to get a whole wall calendar of some sort. I mean, me personally, I like the 4 foot by the 2 feet or however big that is. And then I can see every single month in the quarter in big boxes, and I can plan out the year. And why it's important to do that is because right when COVID happened, things got so messy. I wasn't even sure like what time was going by, right? It felt fast, it felt slow. It's crazy. And then we missed a lot of stuff. And then when we got back, it was just so fast. We just had to keep going. I just missed stuff. So I started to really look at it and chart out the year, because your holidays are your holidays, your birthdays are your birthdays, all of the holidays that fit in throughout the whole year kind of give a little flavor of how many weekends you're going to be working and what weekends you might actually have to go out with clients. And then you start to see the whole big picture. And so what I encourage you to do is, pick at least 2 times that year that you could throw some sort of client event. Now, if you only have 2 clients, well, then it's going to be a very intimate, hey, I'd love to buy you a holiday cocktail. I'm going to be meeting down at the very, very expensive martini bar because you only got 2 clients. And then when you have 20, you're getting your loan officer to come and you're buying, everybody gets 1 drink ticket, right? So you just make it work for whatever season you're in. But I would encourage you find 2 times a year that you can really have events that you can talk about that you're proud about. And it's usually around that harvest time or the holiday season. Maybe it's in the new year for, hey, new year resolution workout session. We do a sunrise yoga, or I don't know, something that you're passionate about. It doesn't have to be for everybody, but you should have 2 events that you're kind of excited about. I know people that their entire business is built on events. Gary Keller had a woman sit on a stage where it's 14 events a year, and that's what we market, and that's what we prospect, and that's what we do. And from that, we sell real estate. Like, we have something happening in our world. There's a shredder party happening somewhere, right? Anybody aware of that? Like, there's a big shredder coming to town. Yeah. My girlfriend Orly, she actually does that for her own town on her own. She doesn't even wait for her office to do it. Only Orly provides the shredder truck in the parking lot of her office and invites all of her clients from Ringwood. And you don't think that other people from Ringwood don't come down and throw their stuff in the shredder? That's her big event. And she has a pie day, right? I have another girlfriend, Marissa. She always throws a big client event on this farm in like Homedale area, Howell area. Maybe it's a Wall, actually. But it's huge, and she's got face painting, and there's a petting zoo. And I mean, this year she had about 120 people there. She's in business now 20 years, but I was there 10 years ago and it was only a handful of us. So I'm just going to encourage you, people, oh, I'm going to have an event. How much is that going to cost me? Listen, it will be a lot more fun. You take pictures and you let it linger on. The invitation's a touch. It's a phone call. It's a text message reminder. You're blasting it out. I mean, you have so many touches for 2 events. The other thing you need to do is you need to take a look at those lists and say, what am I committing myself to? Gina, if you're going to go full force on, pets is one of my pillars, one of my 3 but it's one of my pillars. Well, then you need to make a little business plan, a 1-3-5. What's the one thing you're going to accomplish in that community, with that community? I'm going to sell 5 houses. I'm going to get to know everybody, whatever it might be. And then what are 3 things that need to happen And then the 5 strategies, GPS, priority strategies. All right. So you're going to commit yourselves to at least one of those things on that list. Like, Tamisi, maybe you say, and I'm going to go work for sale by owners. That's my gig. I'm going to go on forsalebyowner.com, Zillow. I'm going to go everywhere where for sale by owners go. And every Tuesday, I'm going to go and I'm going to make my list and I'm going to see if these people are still trying to sell it on their own. And then I call them. And then next Tuesday, I check it and I see, and maybe some people listed with somebody, or maybe some people are still there. And eventually, one week, I'm going to get them. If I make a list of 25, I'm going to get at least 3. So you can't just learn about this stuff and then not actually create business plans around them. Okay, they're not just going to happen for themselves. All right, gold mine of referrals. Always provide value, right? Client referrals. Share your KW app. So these are some best strategies, best practices. Share market statistics. Provide vetted vendor list. Do you have a vetted vendor list? If you don't, that should be an action item you're putting down right now on a piece of paper, is to create yourself a vendor list. Even if you only have 3, then you have 3. Say, would you like me to send over my vendor list? Is it in Excel? Is it on a link tree? Do you have a link tree? I say link tree because link tree can keep your Facebook, your Instagram. You can have all the links that lead to you on a link tree, which is kind of like a little website for yourself, but we can go into that another time. All right. But always provide value, share your app, share market statistics. What can you do when you put somebody in the database? How could we share market statistics pretty regularly? Well, we could put them on the neighborhood nurture. We could put them on neighborhood nurture. We could put them on a bi-weekly neighborhood nurture, which is 2 every other week. They're going to get a neighborhood nurture. It's going to give them market stats around their neighborhood if they're in your command and you have an address and you have an email. Okay. Now, ask for referrals. Hey, who do you know that I should know? Hey, who do you know that would want to buy in this crazy market? I am so like I'm knee deep in it, so I'm the girl. I'm the girl to help you. Reward for referrals. Now you have to be careful with that because you got some RESPA rules, so we're not going to touch that too much because you cannot be paying people for them giving you business, and that's what you can't say I'm going to raffle off a card for every name that you give me. You're going to get a chance at a gift card. You can't even do something like that. So just be careful with that, but treat people right. If you take somebody out to dinner, that's not paying somebody for their referral if you're taking them out to dinner because you like them and then they give you referrals because you have a relationship with them. So don't be silly, but don't be stupid. Okay. And thank people with handwritten notes. That goes such a long way. We have always a great intention of doing it, and so few actually get written. But a handwritten note, if you write a few handwritten notes every single day, 5 a day, that's right, Dave, thumbs up. If you write 5 a day, you will feel great about your business. 5 handwritten note cards a day. And how you're going to do that is you're going to have them in the bunker. You're going to have blank note cards in the bunker, and you're going to have stamps in the bunker. And then you're gonna easily handwrite people's notes, I promise. Okay. As long as you have their home address in the database bunker. Okay. Now, agent to agent referrals, grow, maintain, and manage. Here's the deal with agent to agent referrals. You have it right here. Gina in Spring Lake probably can service something that somebody on here can't. Okay. Alexandra in West Monmouth, she may be able to handle a client more north than somebody, Bridget James, who's in Neptune. Okay. You might not be comfortable or know anything about Neptune, but you may say, I'm going to send the referral to Bridget James. Or guess what? I have a New Yorker, Nicole. And then where's the guy, Joe? He's not here today. So there are all referrals that can go back and forth just right here in the KW Family Facebook group. If you're not a member of that, please become a member of that. the KW family, which is East, West, Ocean, all of them. That's where I go live on my Monday, Wednesday, and Friday morning class. And the other place is to be on every referral group that you possibly can be on Facebook for agents. Doesn't even have to be our company. I just saw a new like lady leaders get posted, which is it's a brand agnostic lady leader group for real estate agents. Ladies, get involved in that, right? Be there, showcase what you do. Like you had a tough day, but you were able to close the contract. Put it out there. That's where you put stuff, you put those kind of testimonials inside of those kind of groups, right? You don't need to show everybody out on Facebook, oh, hey, I wrote a client, I finally got it. But inside of the agent to agent Facebook groups, you definitely want to showcase how hard you work for your clients and how sometimes maybe it's, it's a win for them, it's not a win for you. Like be real inside of those groups. Now I'm going to plug it, go on a family reunion in February, which is in Vegas. I will be there. My Aruba team's going to be there. A lot of our leaders from your team leaders are absolutely going to be there. That is where like best friendships were created. Cross-country best friendships. We're talking 2 decades. And if somebody has a referral in Minnesota, you bet your butt I'm getting it, right? The OP and the team leader that we kind of grew up together started when we were agents. Now, anytime they need anything Jersey, like I got Jersey, call Jersey. And that's the thing, guys, when you go to these conferences, you are Jersey, New York, right? Yeah, Jersey. Oh, you're from New York? Yeah, sure. Jersey, New York. just that's what it is. It's Jersey, York. Because we can give it to somebody in our family and we can pass along the referral, not trying to get a referral, but we have lots of brothers and sisters that are licensed in New York that we could pass along the referral. And what happens is the rest of the country thinks that we're just the same state. And they think that we're so small that we just service it all. So when I go, I say, yeah, Jersey, New York, whatever. If you need anything in New Jersey or New York, you call me because I'm going to get you the right agent. And that's what I tell them. And it will be me. But if it's not me, if I'm really not the right agent, I will find them the right agent. So I have integrity behind that. And that's the way you connect. Even when you go to those agent to agent opportunities, you need your gear, Gina, right? You need your gear for that too. Because what happens is pet people find pet people at conferences, right? And Jersey, oh, I need Jersey. Oh, I need, and then they're connecting with you, okay? The best thing is when we go to Vegas, a lot of the agents that are from Vegas, they put their names on poker chips. And that's their business card is poker chips, right? So like finding fun little ways so that people don't forget you, even in the agent to agent referral business. All right, so with that, it's so important. I can't tell you how much of my business comes from agent to agent and how much of top agent business comes from agent to agent. If you don't know, you can go into Command. There is a referral network. You should start to grow your referral network. When you are in here, you are able to look at the map, and the map is it shows you where all of our referrals go in and out. Let me just share with you. When you are here, where's the map? So referrals is the 5th icon down. And when you go to that, it looks like the map, little pointer. You'll see, you can click on map. And this map is going to show you, let's say, referral patterns. This is our market center in Morganville. And these are where all of our referrals come in from. They sent us referrals. This is where they received referrals. It's the same areas, right? So this right now, if you were in West Monmouth And if you do not have agents that are located in Atlanta, Tennessee, North Carolina, South Carolina, Georgia, and Florida, you're already behind the game because agents have been referring back and forth to our area, to that area for quite a while now because the data is there. Okay, so you're able to really take a look at this map. And if I wanted to look at any if I wanted to look at any city, it's going to show me where those referrals are going out and coming into. Crazy. It's awesome. And it's really great for you to find referral agents so that you could build your referral network. If you have family down in Georgia, I'd go on there. I'd find some agents that you connect with. You could see their production. You could see where they actually sell and some of their stats. So you could build your network so that when you have that opportunity for Aunt Jeannie to move out of, you know, New York and go down to Georgia, you say, Aunt Jeannie, don't worry about it because I have my partner, Susie, and she is, or Merrill. I have a great partner named Merrill Johnson, and he's out of Atlanta, Georgia. He sold my people in 2 days. I love him. He's awesome. So anyway, worldwide referrals. Those of us who have worldwide connections, you need worldwide referrals. So my personal suggestion, if you're from a specific country, or if you visit there often, or if you plan to move there one day, I have had friends move to Morocco, Spain, and Portugal in the last 2 years. So when that happens, it'd be nice to know that you have a referral partner that way so that you can, you know, send your referrals that you're going to meet people. And anyway, so I've been able to connect with people here in Aruba to do so. And we have quite a few deals going on. Okay, so business to business referrals. This is something that you can set up. Once again, there's a RESPA rule. You cannot pay people to give you business, but you can set up understandings, right? You can set up an understanding that, hey, you know what? I'm not expecting all of your business to come to me, Mr. Title Man, that I give you all of my title business or all of my mortgage business or all of my attorney business or all of my dental business. I'm just expecting that we could just maybe have 1 or 2 referrals come my way this year. Like setting the expectation that I refer you because you refer me. And the way you develop this, guys, have a Friday coffee. As a new team leader, when I would go into different markets, my front desk, one of my first rules was book me for coffee every Friday with somebody. And they'd always be like, well, who do you want us to book you with? And I'm like, our vendors, people that we are literally giving money to. I want them to know me and I want to know them. Why? Because they should want people to come work here. Because my referral as a team leader is an agent, is an awesome agent that would do business with us, right? So I would like to meet every single vendor because we're literally giving them business and they should know us and they should refer us. Now, as an agent, I had a great agent in Wayne, New Jersey. He used to do the same thing and he was a top agent. He would meet with all of his vendors. Or if somebody wanted to get into business with him, right? Because they're like, oh, you know, Sean Annan, is Sean Annan in the office today? No, he's not. He's out taking a listing. If you want to meet with him, you'd have to take one of his Friday coffees. Well, when can I do that? And my front desk would book them. So Sean would have his Friday coffee, right? So that time, and it doesn't have to be Friday coffee. It could be Saturday. It could be once a month. It doesn't have to be every Friday. But if you want to start to build rapport and agreements and understandings with other professional business owners, you have to be that person that says, hey, I'd love to pick your ear. I'd love to hear your story. One of the best things is if you know somebody, because I remember a distinct lunch where they shared with me such failure. All I saw was success, but they had shared the failure. And I thought, man, this was totally worth the coffee because I thought this was going to be a very boring meeting. I knew what this person had done, but the backstory of who this person was to become the person they were sitting in front of me was so interesting that I learned so much leadership lessons that it was just a great hour spent. So constantly be working on yourself as well. But I encourage you, how do you get those meetings in? Do a Friday coffee or a Friday lunch or a Friday, early morning coffee. Okay. All right. So ahas on all of that. Any ahas? I mean, we got to have some ahas. different types of networking, agent to agent business. You guys see how all this is important to decide which avenues of the business you're going to develop, because all these can take a lot of time. So if you're hopping around, right, go ahead, Gina, you want to share?
No, I was just gonna say, especially as a dual career agent, if someone needs to go see places in LBI, I don't have time right now to go driving down to LBI to show houses. So, I've done a bunch of referrals in our office just to, hopefully it works out for people. But if I don't have the time, I want still my client to be serviced well.
That's correct. And that's exactly what it is they're coming to you. It's like if you went to go see your doctor, but he's not going to be around for the next month. He's in surgeries and then he's on vacation, but you have to see the doctor. You're going to probably assume that his practice works like he does. Like they meet his standards. So you'll see another doctor, maybe not want to always see that doctor, but okay, fine, as long as I can get the appointment. And that's how they should feel when they're working with us, that we're so professional that we would never put them in the hands of somebody that wouldn't work like us. So don't go put them in the hands of just anybody. Do a little research, have that referral network built up. Sometimes somebody gives you like an okey doke, like I'm moving to Scranton, Pennsylvania. Okay. Well, good thing is we have great market share in Scranton, Pennsylvania. I know that, but I don't have any agent there, right? So I would have to be fumbling through that. But the thing is, hey, we're a worldwide company with local expertise, and I absolutely have a partner for you to work with in Scranton. Let me just get that information to you, and let me connect you guys. And then I'm scrambling to find the best Scranton agent. But I'm not going to also just throw them anybody. I'm going to interview that agent so I know that they're going to at least, hold the same standards. Okay. All right. So more sources, geographic farm. We talked a little bit about that. I believe your movement mortgage team can absolutely help you in identifying a geographic farm. My suggestion is to go to EDDM, which is Every Door Direct, which is the US Postal website, and kind of fiddle around with some neighborhoods, like look at your own address and see if you can find a postal route that makes sense to you, because that is going to be the least expensive way to have consistent mailers in a geographic farm, is going to be through doing it on a postal route. Way cheaper, okay? And you don't always have to do a geographic farm. You may just want to do 200 mailers in an area that you've, kind of picked them. And we can talk a little bit about that when we're looking at identifying sellers. Open houses, social media conversations, contacts, notes, right? All of this is prospecting and marketing inside of your geographic farm. If you sit back and you wait for that mailer to work, you're going to be waiting a long time, like literally probably 2 years. If you then go out there and do social media around the farm, you do door knocks, you do an open house, you could turn that time into like 3 to 5 months. You're getting business out of that farm. But if you sit and wait and you just stick it in the mail, I mean, it's the same thing as the passive conversation we had before. Okay. Events and seminars are something that I strongly advise if you are a presenter. Not everybody's a presenter. It might not be your best look. If it is, if you present, if you're a teacher, if you are a speaker, if you pray in at church, if you're a guitar, you play guitar, you sing, you probably are going to be great at events and seminars. If that is not your jam, do not do it, because you won't look confident. It will be it just won't be your strong suit. So if it is, I love this. We have first-time homebuyer seminars. We have investor seminars. We have first-time homebuyers in Espanol. And we've had success with all of that. More so on the real estate, leading agents, I have business planning clinics, which are like seminars. And that I have great success with as well, just so that I can build validity with the agents and then they actually take action. So events and seminars, I know one of my agents from North Jersey, one of the things that they did was went to the colleges. So she was an alumni, right? An alumni with one of the, I think it might have been William Patterson. And there's so many colleges in New Jersey. Somebody's got to be an alumni or worked at Rutgers or has an in somewhere. And she offered to the alumni seller seminars. Like, what do you need to do to sell your home? What do you need to do to know about the market? Buyer seminars. And they keep asking her back and asking her back. Now, she started with me when she was only second year in the business. That year, she capped and she's consistently capped. She became one of my coaches because she literally did everything that we spoke about. She implemented and found what worked for her. But that's an easy seminar where you're just talking to people that are like you, but maybe at your age bracket and talking about stuff that, and it was done virtually. It was done virtually. So virtual seminars just fine. I see people, I did a seminar at a spa. So we did it in Spanish at a friend of mine who owns a spa, and her workers wanted to really know about home ownership. And then I said, well, if we're gonna do it in Spanish, we might as well just invite, everybody who wants to hear it in Spanish. And we had like about 20, 25 people in that class, in that seminar. So you'd be surprised the value. I would just say, if you think you want to do a seminar and you want to talk it through, please reach out to me. It's a great way to, it's a great source, and you should do probably 4 a year if you're going to do seminars. At least 4. Okay, and leads everywhere. We talked about this in the beginning. Grocery store, coffee shop, repair shop. When you're getting your car fixed, start talking to the guy. Who else needs a house? Do you fix cars? I sell houses. Dentist office, wherever you go, do not be a secret agent. Okay. And just on the recap is in commands, you have the ability to, create a landing page where if somebody were to fill out your landing page, they're going to automatically be a contact. You have the ability just to, open up your commands app and just say, let me throw you in here. Let me put your stuff in here. Let me share my information with you. But command is that integrated tool that allows you to do campaigns. It allows you to do mailer. It allows you to do everything right from here and know when you're supposed to be doing it. So creating that lead generation plan, connect with your sphere, build and feed your database, capture leads from open houses, build a community with the social media, capture leads there, execute a referral strategy, is a business to business, agent to agent, choose geographic area to focus your door knocking efforts, your phone call efforts, consider events and seminars. And the one thing I want to say with the geographic, I just witnessed somebody from our organization. I don't know, maybe some of you saw, there were 800 golden letters going out. So one of our agents who has business in New Jersey and Florida, she's expanded. They have 800 golden letters going out. Now, the golden letter is a letter that says, I think, Kim, you've used a golden letter before, right? Kim Matthews, I think right?
I have, but I didn't get good success with it.
Okay, all right. So we may be going back to the golden letters though, because people are just curious, what kind of equity do they have in their home now? Like, did it go down? Did it go up? And the golden letter is basically, we're looking for homes. Would you like an equity analysis? We're looking for homes that need to sell in the next 30 to 60 days. Who do you know in the neighborhood that needs to sell their home? And there's the other opportunity of, would you like to have an equity analysis done on your property? So we're doing equity analysis for the neighborhood so that you can assess what you might want to do. What could they do with the equity analysis? They could do a home equity line of credit. They could decide to sell the house, right? There's so many things they could do with the home equity line of credit. But so we're going back to getting very specific. So geographic farm is great. Then what I would suggest you guys use is use your tax record system, Remine, REMINE. Use your RPR if you have that set up, and use those tools to actually identify homeowners maybe on a specific street in your farm that might have a high sell score. Okay. A high sell score. It says that they have equity, they've lived in their house a long time, and they're probably going to sell soon. That would be somebody I want to send them an equity analysis letter. So we can dive into more of those tools when we get into the seller series part of this. But there's tools out there so that you don't have to just go and blank canvas a whole neighborhood. You can actually identify who should you be mailing to in that neighborhood. And then stick with them, because I promise you, all of you, every single one of you on this call, have a budget to at least stay in front of 25 homes. So if you told me I don't have a budget, I have no money, I can't do it, fine. 25 homes. That means, do you have $25 a month that we could just try? We could intend on connecting with 25 people in a neighborhood that you kind of identified that these people, they've been in their house a while, they have a high equity, and they have a high sell score. You stay on those 25 for the whole year, I guarantee you're going to get business. It's just we leave the field. We leave the field. All right, so I'm gonna get there with you guys. Okay. So how has your thinking changed about lead generation, lead capture, the opportunities that are out there? Just as we're finishing the night, let's just close it up. How has it changed? What are some things that you might do differently, or you were just reminded that you need to go back to doing? I'm looking for 3.
One of the things I'm going to add on, because I do mailers, is I'm going to do more of an almost blank card, or like an invite card that I could write in the date and maybe like my website, just so they know where to go to log into the Zoom and register for classes. And I could write the name and handwrite it, because I do a lot of postcards, and I do social media posts on the classes I have, but if I could get it to my regular farm that I constantly keep mailing, I think that would get more of them on too. So I like
That's
that.
awesome. So you are educating your consumers through class opportunities, because Nicole's a teacher, so she's naturally likes to educate and be thorough about it. So you're going to shine in that aspect. So what was the last class you offered?
I have one Friday called home buying, first time home buyers. And I did a vendor event, and at the vendor event, I had someone go, "Oh my God, I want to know how to do that." And she signs up right there. I had a QR code, and it put it right in my system. So it was great.
Fantastic. Okay. So we're going to enhance what we're already doing. That's one thing I'm hearing. I need 2 more things.
Well, apparently I need to buy a new wardrobe, so I'm gonna be doing that.
Well,
No,
and
but it was
Dennis has that bonfire account that you can order t-shirts from, right?
Perfect.
And so you could ask him to like design you one, or you can just go and design one for yourself.
yeah. Well, all kidding aside, though, just become more active in those events is really an aha for me. I do that stuff, but it'll be, I think, better and more meaningful. I just need to make better use of it, in addition to
Great.
helping the.
Yeah, great. Awesome. I mean, especially with doggy treats, you can totally brand your doggy treats. You could.
Oh, trust me, I have a whole idea around that. I'm going to call you. I'm going to call you after this call.
Okay.
Anyway.
Awesome. Great. One more thing we're gonna do. It was an aha. We're gonna change the way we're doing something. We're gonna stop doing something. You know, and that's important too, guys. If the aha is I have to stop doing this because I'm saying no to so many things that I could be saying yes, but this is getting in the way. That to me is a big aha when it happens for us. So can I please get one more aha about prospecting, marketing, something you will do differently or implement?
Yeah, Mary Beth, I think I'm gonna really concentrate on my vendor list. But I have a
Thank you,
huge
Dave.
vendor network of contractors, builders, whatever the case may be, handyman. But I
Yeah.
think I'm really gonna focus on that, see it more seriously.
Perfect. Okay, I love it. So Dave's gonna have this kick butt. It's not gonna be Angie's list, it's gonna be Davey's list
That
Move
works.
over, Angie. Davey's in town. Okay, and let Joanna, you could go ahead and close this out with yours.
I was liking what you said with the doing like a survey maybe with your neighbors or whatever farm you're doing, right? And just kind of knocking on their doors and asking them who's their favorite handyman or what, like you said, person who did their
Yeah.
roof or the siding or their favorite landscaper. And maybe, I don't know, compiling a list, right? That
Yeah.
then maybe I can mail out to everybody in that farm. So I thought that was
Absolutely. I love it because then after you do it, your follow-up is after surveying the neighborhood, here's what we came up with.
right. So that was
Right?
a aha for me.
You probably make it into a magnet and put it on the refrigerators. All right. All right,
Uh-huh.
guys. All right, it is 7:25. We are done for tonight. Session 9 in the books. We'll be back here on Wednesday with session 10. And I look forward to seeing you guys then. Also, all of the classes are up on the YouTube channel now, so you can continue to find them there, as well as we do have that Ignite student drive that I've put together for you. So if you don't have that and you want to shoot me back an email, you should find it in the email. It's a Google Drive that was created for you, especially for you. All right, guys, and have a wonderful evening. Signing off from Aruba. I'll see you guys back on Wednesday. Bye.
Thank you.
Good night.
Bye-bye.
Thanks, guys.